Episode 7 starts off right where the last one ended, with our two main riders meeting after Valen's first fight. Seeing them acting so calm with each other while actually freaking out in their minds is very funny. And thanks to this comedic scene, the two have officially named their rider identities. I'm quite surprised that the Valen system didn't already have a name, given that the gun is known as the Valen Buster, so maybe inventor guy never even named the gun and Hunter is going to name it himself. These two have a total misunderstanding of each other's identities, with Shoma assuming that Hanto is a modified Granute like him, while Hanto thinks that Shoma is a human who had a Granute organ transplant, much like himself. There isn't a hostile rivalry so far, but that might change. Also, the intro has been updated to add Valen. Yeehaw is now doing Gavv modifications to a Granute to give him a new ability. Is he going to be able to transform like Shoma, or is he simply going to get the ability to create Gojizos? Because I don't think this random guy is going to become a Kamen Rider, in all honesty. Perhaps he's just going to be a lab rat who will serve as the basis for Niao's own driver. Parallels are being drawn between Dente and Suga, making them curious about another person out there modifying Granutes. Dente gives Shoma a Bandai mandated smartphone toy that every rider show has now for some reason. It has the ability to show whatever a Gochizo has seen, which Shoma uses to expose the old museum guy. The Maiso Gochizo makes me think about how much of the show was written before this toy was made. I always wondered why it was a cardboard box, and now the show provided context that Shoma built it himself after getting inspired by artists, so it isn't actually alive like the other Gochizos. This thing was built to solve the problem of Shoma having trouble hiding the Gochizos. It's quite fun for our main and secondary riders to not know each other's identities at all. Shoma only thinks of Hanto as the guy who stuck up for him back then. We also have confirmation of Valen only being able to use Gochizos once, like Gavv. Later on, Shoma confronts the art museum guy who is actually a Granute. Shoma is threatening these Granutes earlier and earlier each time. Before this, he threatened the Granute right after he transformed into Gavv, and now he's doing it while still in human form. This episode has a bigger role for Glota's stomach, and thanks to her, Hanto learns that Granutes are able to take on a human form. Meanwhile, Shoma fights against the art museum guy. The Chocodan Gochiso got tired of being neglected, so it chose to sacrifice itself for Shoma to get a new form. While I love the design of Chocodan form, I really can't get invested in the fight since all the effects and brown splatter just looks like literal doo-doo to me. Especially this scene that made me go yuck. Please Gochizos, don't eat that. I do like how Gavv bit his gun to make it look more gun-like though. Also, it's kinda funny how the toy for this thing is inaccurate, since only one side has the dark chocolate, while the other side is white chocolate. Chocodan form also didn't show off any weaknesses like the other forms during their debuts. I hope in the future they'll incorporate some kind of weakness, such as it melting in the heat or something. Meanwhile, Sachika is trying to cheer up this grumpy young artist, who then threw paint at her in a fit of rage. She tries to fight back, but then quickly apologizes. She'll likely have more of a focus next episode. Next week, we're getting two chocolate riders fighting together. Here are all the Gochizos that I'll sacrifice this week. I give this episode an 8 out of 10. It's good, but there isn't any reveals or low dumps to get excited for, just a new form debut and some story seeds being planted.